what's up with Sean Baligian?
What up, this is Joint Bell here on the Baligian and Bell show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. You guys have no idea how much love there is in this room right now. And I'm telling you what, right now, it warms my heart. There's a lot of love in this. Can we say that, Joy? And I'm doing this for Grammy Whammy, okay? Grammy Whammy, this is a message for you in particular, okay? Your boy cares about Art. Art was complaining. Art, I'm going to let you tell the story, okay? Art was complaining about how his back hurt and he needed his back cracked. And Joik immediately responded, I'll help you out, right? And of course, Art, is it safe to say you thought at first that you thought that he would break your back, right?
Yeah, I thought he was going to murder me before I'm supposed to produce the show. And he literally just cracked all the vertebrae in my back. I feel great now. I don't need to go to a chiropractor.
How great is that? Like Joik, you did, like literally.
Yeah, I do. You know what though? I don't know how I started doing that, right? So I think I hugged my mom one time, and I don't know.
You're kind of strong.
Yeah, it was because she asked me if I can pop her back, and so I have this thing where I can just hug you regular, make you take a deep breath. On the exhale, I take my hand, give you a heart, and I kind of rub I kind of find that groove up the spine, and I kind of release, and I can't explain it, you know.
He's a different man right now.
He's alleviating. I used to have a crack when I would go like this. I don't have a crack right now. You literally cured me. Thank you, Joy.
Yeah,
you see what Grammy Whammy said? That's my boy.
Yeah.
See, you know what? Let it be known, Joy took care of Art. This is a good day. This is a good start to the day.
Yeah. You know, my grandmother, she doesn't like all the hostility between me and Art. She doesn't like it. So today we'll have a good day today.
Well, you know what? Is it safe to say that the good day started last night, Art? Is that?
I would say yeah. I mean, a new leaf was turned. I mean, I was in shock when I got it.
Well, here you go. Here's the visual evidence to what we're talking about. Look at that.
I told him I followed him last night. You said you didn't see it. You said you didn't see it.
Trust is a very important issue.
Now there's a trust
issue.
Now there's a trust issue.
Yeah, now there's a trust issue.
Because you lied to me this morning, Art. So now I have to unfollow you.
wanted it to be a surprise.
Now I have to unfollow you now. Because you can't be honest with me.
Back for real to put you back in the bad position.
You know what? And now I have to unfollow you, Art, because you're a liar. And hold up. Go look at it now.
No unfollow.
Yeah, no.
Did you see it?
No unfollow.
It's too late.
That's a copy. Like Art was so proud. He goes, Joik is following me now. He was so proud of that, and so we wanted to point out and more,
but he lied though.
More in particular for Grammy Whammy. Grammy Whammy, trust me, we're getting there. We're building some bridges between these two. We're getting there.
There's no bridges to build. Like me and Art is kind of like Charles Barkley and Shaq. We're gonna talk about each other, but I won't let anybody else come in and talk about Art. You know. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Can I?
Art, shut up. Did you raise his hand? Did you raise his hand?
Right back to square one.
Did he raise his hand? He still got. You know what? But that's kind of what it is. Good morning, guys.
How are you?
Throwback Thursdays. Throwback Thursdays. You know what? I was at home last night. And I was reminiscing of my childhood, like some of the fun things. I was on Snapchat and it showed me one of my memories. Mm-hmm. I miss skating, man. When are the skating rinks gonna open back up? I was a skater.
Really?
I was a skater. Oh yeah.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. And the crazy part is the guy who owned the skating rink actually just sold it last year. So the place I grew up on, going every Saturday No, I'm sorry. Every Friday night.
I know a few rinks that I could get you out if you want to go.
Every Friday night. Oh, the whole city used to come out.
For real?
When I was in high school, that was like the thing to do every Friday.
No kidding.
Every Friday, it was live. Oh, yeah, it was good times. And then when I graduated and left, it kind of died down. And so, he was hanging around for a while, and I would try to come back and help out, do certain things for the rink. Whether it was having a party there and try to get some more notoriety to it. And he ended up selling it last year.
Yeah, Rich asked, iced or roller? Ice or roller?
It's roller.
Okay.
Come on, it's roller. Come on. Roll bounce.
You want to head to the ice rink?
And no, you know what? The funny thing is, the last skating I did was ice skating in Colorado. And that was just in November. I went ice skating in November. Yeah.
That can get
totally
you a
different. Totally different.
The other rink, yeah.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, but,
Dan Campbell presser going on. We are going to have some highlights. I know our own Corey with a K. You can follow him on Twitter. He's letting everybody know what's going on. Corey E. Woods, Corey with a K, is participating in the Dan Campbell presser right now. And Joik, it's amazing. I've seen article after article, Twitter post after Twitter post, everybody talking about the same thing. Why should we take a leap of faith with this hire? And you and I touched on this in a certain regard. Look, the Lions haven't built up a credit line. Let's be honest. The Lions do not have a credit line. And when I say the Lions, I'm not talking about guys like Joik Bell, and I'm not talking about guys like Herman Moore, and I'm not talking about guys like Calvin Johnson. I'm talking about management, okay? And I'm going to tell you point blank, again, for me, I am absolutely, positively not going to judge Sheila by anything other than Sheila herself. I can understand if you say it's under the Ford family umbrella and all that. Fine. Me personally, I'm not going to judge Sheila by anything that happened pre-Sheila. I think Sheila should be joined or judged, as I should say,
an individual.
As an individual by her own merits. With that being said, I'm not naive enough or blind enough to ignore the fact that, boy, if you look at it, Joik, it does look like business as usual. Oh, the Lions got a guy who was an interim coach for a little bit, hasn't even really been a coordinator, doesn't appear like other teams had interest in him. Oh, they hired a guy that, everybody's saying nice things about him in Holmes, but he was down.
Was a track record.
Yeah, he was down the list in regards to the hierarchy with the Rams and everything. I can't argue with people like that. You know what? Does that make sense? I can't. If you feel that way, I can't argue with you.
Yeah. You know what though? I think this, right? In order for any coach to have a chance or to build a reputation, he needs a chance, right? Let's give him a chance.
I feel the same way.
We have to give him a chance, right? This is our coach now, and like you said, you hate when people root against the president. Mm-hmm. And right now, this is our head coach. This is our guy. We need to root for him. He's here for the next 6 years. Not guaranteed, but he's here. And so I want nothing but the best for him.
Yep.
It's not enough. We don't have enough data to say he's a bad coach. Let's wait for this first season to go and let's see what happens. Because it's not going to be fixed in 1 or 2 years.
No. Somebody brought up a really good analogy, and I want to give him a shout out. I was reading something. I don't know if you remember him. Covers the Lions. He's part of DraftWire. Jeff Risdon. I like Jeff Risdon and Jeff Risdon's work. And Jeff Risdon also has a background with the Browns. And he said, let's rewind to a year ago, okay? Kevin Stefanski was brought in as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, and people were losing their mind. He had been a coordinator for a year. He was an interim coordinator before then, but people are saying this is a guy that does not deserve to be a head coach in the National Football League.
Right.
How'd that work out? Now, okay.
No. Hey.
In the interest of being fair, Cleveland has a lot more talent. Let's be honest.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah, there's a lot more talent. There's a lot of heavy lifting.
And they're just now starting to produce with that talent.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? So even if we got talent coming in, it's going to take time.
No, and you know what's interesting about it? I mean, seriously, this is a case, and obviously we'd love to get your thoughts on the social medias and all that stuff. This is a case where you are asking a Lion fan, to have faith. You can't do that. I fully 1,000% understand if 99% of you today don't like to hear what Joik and I have to say about it. Because, Joik, you and I really are on the same page. I've got questions. I do. I've got questions.
We do. We all do.
I'm going to hope for the best. I'm not going to judge her by what her father did. I'm not going to judge him by what Matt Patricia didn't do. I'm going to let them kind of go on their own merits. And I'm willing to take a look. Now, if we fast forward a year from now and you go through another miserable type season like 5-11 or 6-10, I'm not going to blame Bob Quinn. I'm not going to blame Matt Patricia.
What year is this?
I'm going to blame the people in power. Even a year from now, if you don't see improvement, I'm sorry. I get it. I'm not expecting the Lions to go to the playoffs next year. Okay, I want to see them improved. I don't want to see the non-competitive moments. If we go through the same kind of season that we just had,
how do we get there?
I'm going to be pissed off.
How do we get there? How do we improve?
You know what?
Is it all coaching?
Part of it is. Wouldn't you agree? Part of it is.
This is a player's game, right?
1,000%.
This is the player's game.
1,000%.
Now, it's the coach's job to prepare you, right? And it's X's and O's. All right, don't let the other coach outsmart you. Put your players in the best position to make a play. And we go out there, we make plays. This is what we get paid to do.
Yep.
And that's where the talent factor comes in. All right? So how do we fix that? We rebuild in the draft. We go out, we find some free agents that still have some left in the tank that can come in and help lead the guys that we are bringing in.
That are fits.
Yeah, right.
Not superstars, fits. I just want some fits. Yeah.
You know, and so these are the guys we need to bring in to make an impact, not only on the field, but in the locker room, because the locker room is where games are won, honestly. Like, the closer you are as a team, right? The closer you are as a team, the more you're willing to fight for your brother. Because when you get there, it's about you want to be the best and you want the money, you know. But when you get that cohesiveness, you guys are moving as one.
Sure.
You guys get that camaraderie. This is my brother. You fight, I fight. That's the type of attitude we need in our locker room. And those are the type of guys you need to bring in. And if we want to win, that's where we need to start. And
Joik, I'm going to be crystal clear with you here. I don't expect them to take a giant jump up in wins. I don't. I really don't. I mean, and I think if you're one of those people, I think you're out your mind. Look, this is a league that's based on parity. You should win at least 3 games just by showing up in a parity league like this. Now, what you do after that is that's where some of those intangibles that Joik was just talking about coming into play. Joik, you know what I want? I want to see them be more competitive. There were so many moments last year, okay? And we've talked about it on here. I mean, we could go through the schedule where they simply put didn't look competitive, whether it be the second half of the Green Bay game, whether it be the Carolina game, whether it be the game on Thanksgiving, honestly, it looked like it was Alabama playing a Sun Belt team. That shouldn't happen in the National Football League. Okay, you're going to see that in college football, okay? And you're going to see, heck, I saw it in D2. You know, I saw some of your teams go pound some of the smaller teams, and the championship year go pound some of the the less thans and everything. In the National Football League, that shouldn't happen. Maybe once in a while you have a bad day. I mean, the Packers got punked after all. Okay, It's going to happen, okay? But to have so many moments where you are absolutely non-competitive, I think that goes beyond what you see on the field. I think that goes to the point that you said. You nailed it. You nailed it, man.
You got to have something in you. And the things that make the players the great ones is something that the coach can't instill in them.
Yeah.
You know, it's something it's just you born with it. You have it. It's the way you grew up. It's your upbringing. It's your will to win. You know what though? In D2, this is what we did, right? So D2, we have we have quality talent in Division II. Mm-hmm. What we don't have is quantity.
Yeah.
That's what we don't have.
Sure.
And so when I was in school, in order to make up for that lack of talent, they worked us 10 times harder, all right, to make up for that lack of talent. So even if a team had more talent, they wasn't going to outwork us. So for me, it was just something that was embedded into me, into my career early on. And there are guys out there like that. And these are the guys that we have to find. And these are the programs we have to find. And that's when you have good scouts coming in. So,
well, and you know what? You bring up D2. Let's be perfectly blunt. When you were a freshman, okay, in Paul Winter's early years, they went on the field and you guys didn't have the horses. You guys got your teeth kicked in. And you know what? After a couple years of bringing in some horses, of bringing in some good players, of building that foundation, taking your lumps, guess what? In a couple years, the shoe was on the other foot, and you were the one kicking people's faces in.
Yeah, it was. When my class came to Wayne State, we hadn't had a winning season in 30 years. It was 30 years. And this is what I come back to tell you. You can go, this is a recruiting thing. You can go to LSU, you can go to Alabama, you can win another championship, and you're just gonna be on a long list of guys who has won one, right? Or you can go to a smaller school, win them a championship, and you'll forever be a hero to that program, a hero to that school. And so I remember when I made my decision to go to Wayne State, it was between two other schools with Northwood and Grand Valley. And I remember the coach from Northwood, I can't remember what coach it was. He said, why would you go to Wayne State? We beat them 70-3 last year. Why would you go there? And that's what he said. They actually set records in that one game. I think they had like over 600 yards rushing and just.
Was it Coach Rittman at the time?
I don't know. It might not have been him. It was one of the coaches there. Right. When I told him that I was thinking about Wayne State. I went back home. I told my head coach what the coach told me. And you know what he told me? He said, the next time they tell you that, tell them that you weren't there yet. And that's what he told me.
That's great.
Yeah. And so my first time playing was, we actually played them at Northwood at their home. And I ran a touchdown, caught one, I threw one. And we beat them there. And so.
Did you hear that?
And so stories like that.
I just ran a touchdown, threw a touchdown, and caught a touchdown.
It was, it was fun. And this is weird because I told you the story how I ended up going to Wayne State. And it was weird that, my mom made the decision. It was the best decision I never made. It's the best decision I never made. I tell everybody that. And so, thanks, Ma Dukes. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing.
No, but listen, and this is what it comes back to. I mean, and if you're expecting a miracle next year, this isn't a Cleveland Browns situation, okay? They just don't have the talent. As I said, for me, I have accepted the fact that it's going to take a couple of years for them to get going. There are roster limitations that are not going to be fixed in a year. I want to see them be better on the field. And Joik, I'm a firm believer of you are what your record indicates, but there are also different shades of 5-11 and 6-10. Okay, there's a competitive 5-11, and there's a crap 5-11. I don't care what anybody says.
It's a crappy. What was our record 2012 here at the Lions? Was it 4-12?
4-12. You guys were 4-12.
Right, but listen, we had talent. It wasn't a crappy 4-12. Art put it up probably, I think, last week when he pulled it up. I think we had 6 or 7 games we lost by a touchdown or less. And so we're right there.
Do you know what I felt? I've never, this has never come up. I'm going to ask you, but since you brought it up.
Yeah.
I felt the losing got habitual with that team. That once it started to spiral, it was just things, watching it.
That's to keep you know what, though?
That was my feeling watching it. You lived it. What was it? How would you describe it?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It's just we couldn't get it going.
Yeah.
We always liked to play from behind. When we went into a fourth quarter up is when I felt more confident going into the fourth quarter being down. I felt like we played with more of an urgency as a team.
Yeah.
So I can't look around and point fingers and say, well, this guy wasn't playing as hard on this play than that play. But I just felt like when we were down, because like we played so well, right, in the 2-minute drill and coming back, that we'll try to do the hurry up offense in the middle of the game, but it only worked during the 2-minute drill at the end of the game.
Sure.
And we never knew what it was. Like, and so it just kind of it just continued to pour over into the next week, the following week, the next week, and we kept having these close games, like the game in Tennessee. We should have had that game.
Nuts comeback.
Like it's a nut. Like it was destined for us to win.
Yep.
The game is against the Bengals. It was destined for us to win, but we lose that game as well. We come back. Calvin makes an unbelievable catch over 3 or 4 defenders in the end zone to tie the game, and I'm like, wow, we coming back. And I remember. Do you remember that play?
Absolutely.
I remember that play because I was in blocking on that play, and Stafford starts to scramble. And so I go out and I help chip the defensive end with Riley Reef. No, or was it Jeff Backus? It might have been Jeff. I think it might have been Backus. But
great guy, by the way.
Yeah, and the guy was about to sack Stafford because he went back in and Stafford was scrambling, and I couldn't get the block, so I screamed, "Throw the ball, man! Throw the ball!" As soon as I see he was releasing, as soon as I was saying it, and so he got the ball off. He didn't take the hit. I think he might have just got a little push, but he got the ball off and released it. And Calvin just made a heck of a play.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You have a player like that on your team. It's like this.
Get it to him.
Just put it in the air.
Yeah, get it to him.
It's a 90-10 ball.
Yep.
It's a 90-10 ball.
All right, so we'll get your thoughts. I know there's a lot of conversation about here. Again, there's no way I'm going to tell you to take a leap of faith with this franchise. I get it. 100%. Don't think.
We got to earn it.
I'm not. There's no chastising from me, and it sounds like there's no chastising from him as well. But I am going to reserve the right to sit back and say both Holmes and Campbell are taking over a really unenviable position here with the Lions, and I'm going to judge them by their own merit. All right? That's what I'm going to do. We'll get your thoughts next. Don't forget, Scott Bischoff is coming in at 12:30 to chat with us. He and I are going to do a draft podcast later on today that'll drop in the next 24 to 48 hours as well. Don't go anywhere. Glad you could join us Thursday morning right here, Woodward Sports Network. What is up? Glad you can join us Thursday morning. Joik Bell, Sean Baligian. The Campbell presser is going on right now. Corey with a K, our own Corey with a K, is keeping tabs on that. I know he's participating in the presser. When he's done with it, hopefully he'll come in and share with us some of the stuff that he heard. How about this one, Joik? I don't know if you saw this comment. I know drug addicts I have more faith in than the Lions. Sheila gets a grace period, but the people running the rest of the company are the same. So I'll wait to be pleasantly surprised. I can't argue with that, man. There's no line of credit with this franchise. There just isn't. Any credit that they've had in the past. Now, if you're one of those people that hope springs eternal, and I'm a relatively optimistic person, contrary to what some may believe. I'm an optimistic person, especially about life in general. My mindset is 2021 has to be better because 2020 was so bad, for example. But with that being said, I loved a quote that your former coach Jim Schwartz used to say: "Hope is not a strategy." I'm not going to base anything on the Detroit Lions moving forward on hope. I'm not. How? Well, I hope they're good. Well, based on what? Right? I want to see who's going to play the role of Joik Bell on the team. I want to see who's going to play the role of Calvin Johnson. I want to see what Matthew Stafford's going to. There's so many things I need to see.
There's somebody that's going to play the role of a Calvin Johnson.
No, you can't. You're right about that.
No, I mean,
You're right about that.
I'm not gonna say. I mean, there's not too many people I like. I'm not. You think he's a generational talent?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I want to put you out there on a limb on that.
1,000%. I mean,
generational talent. So we always find these type of players. We get the Barry Sanders, we get the Calvin Johnson, and you get really good guys like Herman Moore too. And I don't think Herman gets the roses he deserved.
I couldn't agree with you more.
He doesn't get the roses he deserved.
Could not agree with you more.
He should be a legend walking through here.
1,000%.
He is a legend. In my book, he's a legend, for sure.
People forget how darn good Herman Moore was.
He was a leading scorer on the team 5 out of the years he played with. I think probably more than that when he played with Barry. I didn't know that until I had to go look it up. And he told me. I said, let me go look it up real quick. I'm like, wow, it's true.
What did he have? Was it 95? Was it 123 receptions? I mean, it was just, he was sick. I mean, he was so good. That was the one year, I kid you not, Joik, to say that I bought in would be an understatement. I mean, I'm not. And you know what? For people out there that don't remember, they started the year 3-6, and then they won 7 in a row. And I remember listening to a national syndicated radio show, and they were talking about how the Detroit Lions were the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. I thought it was totally legitimate. And then they went to Philadelphia and got clobbered. No other way to. Yes.
I just wanted to give you some stats about Herman Moore. He had 670 receiving yards, total yards 9,174, and he had 62 touchdowns in his career.
What was it? Can you look up 95 since you have it up? Wasn't it like 123 receptions?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. He was insane.
Freaking nerd.
He was insane.
You're a psychic, man.
Freaking nerd.
Literally 123.
He's not really a psychic.
They were so...
Not really a psychic.
They were so good that year, Joik. I'm serious. They were... gosh, I thought it was real, man. Scott Mitchell, took the helm. Herman, Brett Perriman, Barry. Gosh, they were so good. See, this is what I'm talking about with Scott. Can the Lions give up less than 500 points next year? You cannot fix that in a year. You can't. You cannot fix what ails that defense in a year. I want to see them be better. I don't want to see them get rolled as much.
It starts in the trenches. We talk about this all the time.
I'm not going to argue with you, friend.
It starts in the trenches. That's where the game is won, there. All right there. Offense and defense, those are the trenches. If you can get to the quarterback, go ahead. I'm going to jump on your back. The NFL today is, I think, a really simple game. I heard Tony Dungy say this, and I could not agree with this more. Get to their quarterback and give your quarterback time to do what he does. That's the NFL today. Everything, and let's be honest, the quarterback has a circle around him. Everything is about your quarterback. And that's why so many quarterbacks are being drafted early. Put pressure on their quarterback and give your quarterback time to put pressure on them. And Joik, where does that start? It starts in the trenches, both sides. Trenches. It does. It starts in the mud.
Your secondary is going to look infinitely better if a quarterback is being one of the funniest. I love when I see stats like this. Okay, like when somebody says, like PFT or whoever says, quarterbacks who perform well under pressure. Okay, there are quarterbacks who perform better under pressure than other quarterbacks, but show of hands, how many quarterbacks like to be pressured? Nobody wants to be pressured. You want to sit back there and have as much time as you can. So, to me, that's half the battle. You're doing that on the offensive side of the ball. You have some pieces there and some young pieces, Joik, that I think are only going to get better. Defensive side of the ball, what do you want me to say? Kenny said, cautiously optimistic with the hire, taking a wait-and-see approach, but that kind of sucks right now given how poor the past few years have been.
That's what it is.
That's exactly where we're at.
Because you can't down a guy who hasn't proven himself yet.
Yep.
We can.
Yeah.
He's not, and then he comes here and he does well, and then what? Because right now, anything we say about him as far as being a head coach would be an opinion.
Yeah.
There's no facts out.
Yeah.
But like you said before, you said it's like business as usual. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's that.
I hope it's not.
I think it's different. When the last time we did something like this? Hired a coach that hadn't had a track record of being a head coach or at least a coordinator ever.
Yeah,
now,
and there's two. You know,
do you think it's a setup for success? I don't know.
Marinelli was the only Rod Marinelli. That was the only one where he was just, he was the D-line guy.
Oh yeah, that was. And actually, that's when I was coaching. I mean, not coaching, but working for on the Lions. Mm-hmm. It was like 06. I think. Yeah, that was like 06 to 08. When did he leave the Lions?
So overmatched. Got fired at the end of 08.
Yeah.
After 0-16. Yeah. So overmatched.
And so it might be business as usual, like you said, but it might not be.
I hope it's not.
I mean, he was part of that 0-16 season.
I get why people are going to say that. I do. I don't. I'm not going to judge and there are people that have already convinced themselves that this is a failure, and I'm just not one of those people. Because Rod Marinelli failed, that means Dan Campbell's going to fail. I don't subscribe to that logic. What's that?
He was part of that regime.
Yeah, he was. He played here.
I mean, you can say that, though. I'm pulling for the guy. That's our guy here. He's here now. We can't, we're not making those decisions. Like I said, we can only give our opinions. I told you who I liked as the head coach. It was two guys. Curtis Mockins, that's who I liked. And I also liked Eric Bieniemy. So those are the guys I liked. So we'll see how this goes.
Do you think Bieniemy gets a job? Obviously, he's still coaching. You're not going to hear anything. But do you think Bieniemy ends up someplace?
Yeah, I think he gets a job. That's his end goal.
Yeah,
I think that's just about every coach's end goal.
Yeah,
I mean, to be the head coach somewhere and start a culture or go to a franchise where you can start instilling the culture, a winning culture to that organization. So I think he'll have opportunity.
My man was a stud at Colorado. You were a little kid, but that guy, stud running back. He really was.
He was up for the Heisman.
Yeah, he was really. I mean, I'm not joking. That's when Colorado finally started to, what's the word? Rise up. Michigan's assistant coach went there, Bill McCartney, and you did that so nonchalantly. You just kind of held it up and cheers, took a swig. Rich said Campbell has something to prove. He's part of the 0-16 team. He knows it. I think he will come in with fire. Steve said, what a good feeling it had to be for Campbell to walk into his new office, sitting at his new desk and wiping Patricia's goldfish cracker crumbs off. Paul said, that's a great toque you have. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I said that last one to go to the goldfish.
Sean, what's up,
There's
ladies and
pencil
gentlemen?
shavings everywhere.
I'm going to say this again, okay? And I always said this about Matt Millen, and people got mad at me. Matt Millen, the individual, I like Matt Millen. I think he's a good guy. I mean, I do. And you know what? Matt Patricia, the human being.
He's a good guy.
I like Matt Patricia.
He's a good guy.
I'm going to root for Matt Patricia wherever he goes. I'm serious. Now, what I found out after a couple years is I think there are guys that are destined to become head coaches, and I think there are guys that are not head coaching material.
Yeah.
I do not think in any way, shape, or form that Matt Patricia's a head coach. I don't. Seeing what I saw, I mean, no disrespect
might have
to the
some
man.
Insecurities. And this is why I say that.
Yeah.
And this is outside looking in. And this is not me talking to Matt Patricia, the head coach, but talking to Matt Patricia as a man, all right? And then what I hear from some of his players that are veteran players, and you can see through BS, right? We can see through that, right? And so when we can have the normal conversation like you and I, Matt Patricia's the nicest guy, one of the nicest guys you ever talked to. I mean, just easy to talk to, great guy. And they said when he get into the meeting room, when he's in front of the big audience, it switches to MFer and da-da-da, you a bunch of, and this is what I'm hearing from players, right? So this is not opinion, this is what I'm hearing. And then they said when they speak to him, in a one-on-one setting, it changes. And it was like, well, why don't you just act like this all the time? We'll respect you so much more, and you'll get way more out of us than, the degrading and things of that nature. So one thing I like that I've heard about Campbell is that he's been known to bring teams together, right? To bring his rooms together. And I think that's what he's going to have to do here when he comes here. bring that team together. Like you said with when we had Agnew on, Jamal on, he said that when Bevel came in, the temperature went like this. Mm-hmm. It was more relaxed. They loved him. They wanted to rally. They wanted to win for him. That's the type of mentality he's going to have to instill in his team when he gets here. And there's nothing that he can say, hey, I need you guys to win for me. It's just how he treats the player, how he conducts himself, and then you lead by your actions.
You know what, Joik? Matt Patricia didn't live too far from me. Both he and Bob Quinn. They didn't live too far from me. They lived really close to each other, but they weren't. Less than a mile away from where I lived. I never saw Bob. I don't think Bob ever went out. I used to see Matt Patricia around town, and I never talked to him about football, ever. When I ran into him, never. Not one time. It never came up. He was a human being. We talked about things that there were a couple times where it was like similar things that he knew I liked, and he knew I knew that he liked and stuff like that. I thought he was great. I watched him go out as dad. I watched him go out as a husband.
Yeah.
And so I would see him, a couple different times in downtown Northville, and just, hey, what's up? And we talk and everything. And like part of me, it's so funny that you say that, because honest to God, I remember one time I just wanted to say to him and go, dude, if you were just like this
in the locker room,
people would love you.
It's funny.
People would love you.
So before the show, you saw me talking to my daughter. And she FaceTime me, said, "Good luck on your show today, Daddy."
So adorable.
You love it, right?
Stinking adorable.
And so the first time I met Patricia, I saw a young lady. She had some beautiful daughters with her, and I had my daughter, and we're walking into the practice facility after training camp. And then my daughter, they found a new best friend. So I'm playing with the kids. They're running around on the practice field. And my daughter's a little aggressive, so she's grabbing come with me, and grabbing the girl's hand. And my daughter's strong, so she's like pulling. I'm like, Giovanna, you have to be gentle, right? And then come to find out, is Matt Patricia walks in, it's his daughters. And so we sit down, we're talking, me and him having a conversation. This is when he had his foot injury or his Achilles injury, and we're just talking while he's on his scooter. And great guy, and that's the individual. Like I said, I never played for him, so I only know what players can tell me about him. But when I met him as a man, as a person, he was great then. He was great when he came out to the peaceful march I had. He was great. He wanted to have conversations again in August. Once the season got started, he wanted me to come by and try to, he was a great guy, so, but that wasn't the same guy that they portray him to be in the locker room, in the meeting room. And that's where you have that conflict of interest between you and the player. Like, what are we supposed to think about you? Just be yourself.
No. You know what? Steve brought this up, and I know you were here for a little while with him, and I want to bang my head on the desk every time I see this man's name, and I don't want to put you in a bad position. So if you don't want to comment on this, you don't have to comment on this, Joik. But Steve said, Campbell going to bring back Lombardi. I think I would take my face. Okay, I wish we could. Can we raise this just for effect? No, we won't raise it for effect. I would take my face and put it through a plate glass window if you brought back Joe Lombardi. I would. And then when I was done, I'd probably take a cinder block, and what was left of my face, I'd just drop it on my head, because Joe Lombardi, to me, Joik, was the smartest man in the room. And he came in and said, my system works. My system works. So even though you're a square peg, I'm going to make that square peg fit into the round hole. Or even if you're a round hole, I'm going to use that round pole. Joik, I've said this once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Players make plays. Your scheme doesn't make plays. I know you're a genius. I know you're the smartest man in the room. I know that. There's no doubt about it. But players make plays. You put players in a position to utilize their skill set. Matthew Stafford is not Drew Brees, okay? And Drew Brees is not Matthew Stafford. So what should I do? Should I try to make Matthew Stafford play like Drew Brees? Or should I utilize the strengths that Matthew Stafford has that Drew Brees can't do? Which includes throwing down the field. that Joik, to me, it drove me nuts because it was like, you work with what you have. You know why? When I think you're a good coach is when you utilize what you have. And make them successful, as opposed to trying to make them fit into whatever damn scheme you want.
That's the difference between a good coach and a great coach.
Amen.
That's the difference. All right, you have players come in that are playmakers, and we talked about this yesterday about getting the ball in their hands. Right, you get the ball in their hands and you let them do what they you let them do what they do in open field. You have some guys that are good in open field. You have some guys like me that are good between the tackles, between the hole, breaking tackles. And I was pretty decent in the open field. I can break tackles. I can hurdle a guy. I can make a guy miss. But guys who had that talent where they can just stop on a dime and hit 100 miles per hour, like right now, like guys like a Reggie Bush, a Golden Tate, a Theo Riddick, those type of guys, you get in the open field, you let them make a play. Calvin Johnson, jump ball. But people don't understand, like Calvin route running skill is unmatched. Like his route running skill was they're amazing, right? And so you get these players, you put them in position to make a play, and that's point blank period.
Yep. Steven said there's a reason. Steven, good call. There's a reason they call Mike Thomas slant man. Yes, right. Like to me, utilize what you have. Joik Bell is not Reggie Bush. That's just the way it is, okay? Yeah. And Reggie Bush isn't Joik Bell. So why would I say, Joik Bell, you're going to be our Reggie Bush? No. You use what makes Joik a National Football League player. You utilize that. You utilize strengths. And I unfortunately, I think a lot of these guys, in their earnestness to show everybody how smart they are, that's what you saw was Joe Lombardi saying, I don't care how you guys have done things. I don't care what your skill set is. My scheme works. That supersedes everything. You guys were never going to have success that way. And I don't think there's any coincidence. You played. I don't think there's any coincidence once he left and Jim Bob came in, you saw the offense go like that. That's not coincidental because Jim Bob put you guys in positions where you could succeed as opposed to be something that your coach thought you should be. I don't think there's any, no coincidence there, man.
It's not. It's not at all.
Sorry, I get fired up. It
you
ticks
get fired
me
up.
off,
You
dude.
got simmer down. Simmer down over there. We're attacking the play on the field, not the person. I feel like you're attacking.
Yeah.
The person.
No.
No.
Seriously. I never knew Joe. You know what's funny? Steve made a comment. Joe Lombardi lived in my neighborhood. All right, Quinn and Patricia were like a mile away, but where Joe lived, he was actually in my neighborhood. So
check him out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. All right, listen. When we come back, we got a Throwback Thursday special for you as well.
Oh yeah, bring it up.
We'll come back and we'll do that. Do you have the audio with it too?
I want the one with the audio,
damn it. Because I know the guy that called that touchdown.
I know. I'll tell you, the footage is grainy because it's from like the 1940s. So yeah.
We were, we were making some serious ground, and then Art just threw us back about 30 years with that.
Didn't he?
That's a little disrespectful.
I'm sorry. I'm just, he unfollowed me, so I'm upset.
I followed you back, but let me unfollow you again.
Not again.
Every time he opens his mouth, I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. He runs his mouth. He didn't even raise his hand before he started talking, did he?
I think I talked to him first. Okay. I think that's on me. So, yeah,
that's cool.
You can yell at me. All right, don't go anywhere. It's Woodward Sports, Joik Bell Show on Baligian. All right, what's up? Glad you could join us. Let me read some comments before we get back to the Throwback Thursday. I swear, if I hear the term Patriot Way again, I'm going to lose my mind. Steve immediately says Patriot Way. Let me see. Steve, is that Steve in Pennsylvania? Steve said, I'm listening to the DC's introductory presser. Dude is saying all the right things. Yeah, in case you're not checking out the presser, Corey with a K, I think, is going to be in here. Corey E. Woods. He's part of the presser. I know he's on the docket to ask questions. Joik, I don't know if you've participated in one of these, in this strange COVID era, but what happens is you do a giant Zoom meeting, right?
Right.
And so you're supposed to tell, Eamon.
Yeah.
Great guy. Like you tell Eamon ahead of time, hey, Eamon, can you put me in the docket to ask a question? And so basically what happens is it puts you in queue, and you'll see a couple people in front of you, Art from Woodward Sports, Joik Bell, then you'll see your name, and you know you're up next. So it's not how it used to be, where we all basically were Art. You raise your hand. Coach points at you, and you do the interrupt. Hey, Coach Campbell, my name's Sean Baligian. No, that's how we do it now. It's been weird.
So what you're telling me is a little bit more organized?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit more organized.
I have a feeling. Okay, I have a feeling, Joy. To your point, I have a feeling we're going to see more of these in the future. I really do.
I mean, if it works.
Yeah, I really do. I have a feeling we're going to see more of these as opposed to people coming down. I know on the radio, not so much the television side, I have a feeling you're going to have some more guys doing shows from home too. Because I'll tell you point blank, for my radio side, I hated the first few times I did the radio show from home. I hated it with a passion.
Why?
But you know what? Because it was
the atmosphere.
Yes, exactly. It was unfamiliarity. And then you know what? After a couple weeks, I don't want to go back. I have everything set up in my office at home. I have everything.
Everything
it's all within a reach. It's all right there. I don't want to go back. TV's difficult. I've had to do a couple TV things from home. It's not the same. I think you have to be on set, but the radio stuff, if they say, hey, look, you have the option. Do you want to come back? I'll stay home. It's great. I have everything there.
All right.
I went out and bought some soundproof stuff and all that because, I used to have a studio in our old house, but since we moved, everything's set now. It's cool.
Everything's set.
Yeah. So, all right, you ready? We got some Throwback Thursday
stuff. Got some Throwback Thursday for you guys.
Art went in the archives. I don't know how far back Art went in the archives.
Yeah. I didn't know you guys were doing this today.
I basically found out just before we went on the air.
I figured I'd be nice and just do something nice for Joik to celebrate his, his life and career inside not only the NFL but going all the way back to Benton Harbor. So here's some video highlights from the YouTube world.
Oh, snap!
Of going all the way back to Benton Harbor to the NFL.
I want to watch this.
Look at that butt. That's the NFL butt. Look at that butt. Tigers.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Walk in. So, oh, my God.
Look at that.
So, it started back in high school.
You remember that?
God. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah,
it was
you
my
remember
first
all
one.
that stuff? Does it come back?
First play of the game. This is the first play of the game.
For real?
Yeah. Before that, I'm going to give you...
that guy might have a future.
You know what's funny? I'm going to give you a story about that play when this is over with. This was the second play of the game.
So are you serious? You had 2 carries, 2 touchdowns?
No, I actually had 3. My first 4 carries, the first 3 was touchdowns that game. Boom. I do. Did you call it? You called this game, Sean?
Did I really?
Yeah.
Is this one that I did?
Yeah, you called that game.
There you are. That's against the Wood, right? Yeah, that's the Wood.
Yeah, that's against the
You're howling? Yeah, there's Mickey. Mickey's a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Is that Mickey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely
23
called
was
that
actually
game.
nice for him. Him right here, he was actually nice for them. You caught this? You caught this play too? I remember your voice.
I'm sorry to hear that. Look at you, dude.
Wow, riding the line.
Mm-hmm. Had to ride it. Man, this...
I don't remember this one, Joy.
No, this was in Hillsdale. This is in Hillsdale. That's my business partner.
Well, you were there your senior year.
That's Troy right there. You saw Troy?
It was pouring rain, remember?
In
Pouring
Hillsdale?
rain your senior year.
Hillsdale?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't bad. My first NFL touchdown was preseason. Wow. But we were getting our butts kicked, so I really couldn't celebrate for real. We were getting our butts kicked. And this is where it started. It was when I started, like, you know what? I like screens. This is my first start. I remember this. My first start. We had never been DC in DC.
Dude, look at you. I think you took a couple souls on that play.
Yeah. Yeah, I dipped on Troy Polamalu right there. That felt good. I got Troy on my highlight tape. Always wanted that. Thanksgiving game.
That's a great run, dude. Your stretch.
Thanksgiving. They didn't give me the touchdown. They marked me down at the one. I was mad about that. That was the play I was telling you about where teams, they do certain plays on certain down and distances, and they always sent like a double-A blitz, and so that was a play where I just kind of I slipped the blitzer and just got her out the middle. This
is where they should have faked a field goal with Joik Bell instead of the 72-pound punter. Not that I'm pissed off about it 8 years later.
Good times. It was good times, though, right?
There it is.
I think this is my first time ever doing it, I think.
Joik, I'm not going to lie to you. It is never a good time when you decide to fake a punt with your 72-pound rookie punter. It's never.
Yeah.
As much as I like Sam, it's never a good time.
Good time.
That was one of those afternoons ruined for me. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I've gotten better as I've gotten older. People that know me, especially when I was on the air, I used to like rant and rave, and then I was like, I can't do this to myself anymore.
Right.
Because I got to go home and be dad.
That's true.
And all that. You know, my kids come home and they're going, Dad's in a mood again. But yeah, that particular Sunday, that game in Pittsburgh, wasn't a good day.
It wasn't a good day.
Nah.
I got hurt that game too.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but I was good to come back, and he would not let me back in.
Well, because he didn't need you. He had a 72-pound rookie punter.
Look at that. Oh, Joy, Art did this for you. That's what best friends are for.
See?
Jenna.
Right? Scott
so
asked,
sweet, Art,
do you
doing
still
this
have the ball?
you.
Do you still have the ball from your first touchdown?
I saw that. I saw that. So, yes and no. I don't have that ball because that was during preseason, so I don't really count that.
Sure.
I do, but I don't count it. Now, my first touchdown I had when I played for the Lions, it was against the St. Louis Rams, and I remember when I scored, it was on a 1-yard touchdown. It was on the 1-yard line for a 1-yard touchdown on my very first NFL carry during the season. I remember when I scored, Cortland Finnegan tried to take the ball out of my hand after I scored, and I pushed him off him. I said, no, you're not getting this ball. And I ran and jumped in the crowd, and I cheered with the fans, and I did not let that ball go until I got to the sideline. I handed the ball to Tim, our equipment guy, and I said, you hold on to this ball. I want this ball after the game. Put it away. And he said, I got it, no problem. He took it to the back, put it in the bag for me, and then when the game was over, they got it personalized for me for my first touchdown. And we won that game too, so it was great.
Beautiful.
Sitting right in my office, not my office, but in my my man cave.
Steve said Finnegan was such a scrappy guy. Yeah,
oh
obviously.
no, he got. So the next time I played against him was when he was with the Dolphins, and I made him pay for that. I made him. Hey, if you can find that clip, Art.
You cracked his back, but not the way you cracked Art's back, huh?
Oh yeah, no. Huh?
Cortland Finnegan.
Scott
said Joe Theismann says that when Coach Gibbs would call a quarterback sneak at the goal line, he would change the play, saying, "Why would I try to get over these 300 men who want to kill me when I have a 270-pound hammer and John Reagan's behind me?" Right?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, Matthew Stafford, you're our franchise. I want you to lead with your head and dive towards the line, or you have a guy in Joik Bell that is running downhill out of the backfield and plowing into the line. Who you got? Who you got? I'm going to go ahead and take Joyce Bell.
You sure?
Yeah, I am. I feel pretty good about it. Now, you or Sam Martin, I'm not sure.
Right.
You or Sam Martin, I'm not sure. In that.
I'm not sure.
You know what drove me nuts about that? Because sometimes there are plays like that happen.
You know what really grind my gears?
What's that? You know what really grinds my gears?
You know what really grinds my gears?
He did that to you the other day,
I did
too.
Yesterday. You didn't even know it.
Yeah.
You know what really grind my
by
gears?
the way, Grammy Whammy said, I love it, Art. You
Yeah.
get another thumbs up from Grammy Whammy, Art.
Grammy Whammy, add me. You can see how great I am. How great of a father I am.
You know what's funny?
A
You know
great
what's funny?
friend I am. Add me on Facebook.
My grandma, she usually
She knows good character.
usually like pities the less fortunate. She does that. And so, Art, you really shouldn't be happy that she's giving me the thumbs up.
I
She's
saw what
always
you
been
did
that-
to her the other day on Instagram, and I was so mad at you. Like, you were bullying her. I mean, it was in a fun way, but I was just like,
Hey, you don't talk about me and my grandma relationship.
oh, here we go. Here we
Yeah,
go.
we talk about you and your dad relationship.
She
We don't
feels
talk about our relationship.
the
How's
less
that going on?
fortunate.
How's that going, by the way?
We're
How's
gonna
that
have a
going, by the way?
catch. We're gonna have a catch.
Yeah. We have to catch up while we,
We're gonna. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna have to make sure that I give you some food, so maybe I can talk you into throwing a pass with Art, and then McCarty can throw a pass, or maybe we can get my hockey sticks out and shoot some passes at each other.
I feel like I'm going to show up.
I'm going to take care of you, Art.
I feel like I'm going to show up, and they're just going to look at me and be like, oh, he's here. And they're just going to leave. They're just going to leave.
Steve
Art,
said
that's
Dad
why I
was
got
mad.
all that food there, man.
Hey, you heard what
That's-
Steve said Dad was mad. He was upset. You don't love me. That's Sean boy. You don't love me anymore. That's Sean boy. You don't love me anymore.
Grandma Whammy ain't going to be happy with this one.
So you know what? It's funny. I have a couple friends in the media that have just hit me up in the last couple minutes, and maybe some of you guys checked out the press conference. One of my friends, and I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know if he wants through. He said, "Did you run through a wall yet?" He went over 15 minutes before taking questions. I was entertained every second of it. Pressers are going to be fun again. This team is going to take on the identity of the city. This city's been down and it found a way to get up. It found a way to overcome adversity. So this team is going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, and when you punch us back, we are going to smile at you. When we are knocked down, we are going to get up. That sings to people's hearts. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. All that stuff, okay? But with this franchise, okay, whether people want to hear it or not, with this fan base, you're going to make some people happy over hearing that stuff, and they're going to throw their fist in the air, and some people are going to go, ugh, that's cool. Great. More talk. Which is exactly... listen, do you know what one of my nicknames for Matt Millen was?
What?
ATM. All Talk Millen.
All talk Miller.
All he did was tell you what they were going to do. All he did was tell you what the team was going to be, what he was going to do. He was the ATM.
And then-
All Talk Millen.
And then after he left, what did he say to the fans? What did he say to the fans when he left?
Sorry, Detroit.
I wasn't. I'm not really. I wasn't a GM. Mm-hmm. Is that what he said?
Yeah. Sorry, Detroit. I guess I wasn't ready. Ooh. I mean, thanks. Cool. His $5 million, multiple $5 million contracts later. Well, that's awesome. Great. I'll say it again though. He's a nice guy.
Great
Really.
guy.
He is. He is.
Great guy.
Yeah.
I never met him.
Really, great guy.
Is he still in the area, or he went back?
No, he's back at his farm. I think he grew money trees with all the money that he made off of the Lions. He took the money and just planted. Now giant orchards of money are just growing from all of the money that he made here. So yeah, I think he's a money tree farmer. It's
Okay.
just great he made $5 million contracts. Great. That's why I say again. I mean, the people that say the Fords are cheap. Well, look at Matt Millen. Guy got to suck for 9 years and had $5 million contracts. Cool.
Yeah.
Good time.
But you know
Wonderful.
what though? One thing I'll tell you about the Ford family: when they hire someone, they stay out the way because then that's not their lane, right? Mm-hmm. So they bring in the people. And they'll tell you, we don't know how to run a team.
Yeah.
We bring you here. We brought you in here. We're paying you so you can run the team and make us successful. Now, like I told you before, what type of questions are we asking these people in the meeting? Are we asking them, what is your vision for this franchise? What are the goals you hope to accomplish here? How do you plan on reaching those goals? All right. What questions are we asking in these meetings to make us say, this is the guy? I wish you knew.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because when you hear NFL, you think everything is above and beyond approach. So you think everything is, they must have something great. It must be some grand or something that, us normal civilians, like we can't touch. Like with the concussion protocol. It's a joke. It's a joke. They ask you what's your name? What day is it? Sunday. All our games on Sunday mostly. Say the months backwards. All right, and that's kind of
I can't do it anyway.
Yeah. Say the months backwards. Say the
December,
days.
November.
Say the days of the week. Say the days of the week. It's where are we right now? Like it's like questions like that. It's, and then they'll decipher if you have a concussion based off of that, and then you go to the back. This is how it was. I don't know if it's changed from when I played. I mean, I was just playing a few years ago, so it's a joke.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Don't lie to me. Your eyes. As somebody who's had it before, and I've dealt with it before, and watched other people do it. And I used to talk to some of the young kids with the hockey team that I was working about. How things were different and telltale signs and everything. Right. Joy, to me, the eyes don't lie. You kind of got the deer in the headlight.
Yeah, it's more than that though. So
they're 1,000%.
I remember. So when I had my concussion, all right, I finished the drive, right, but when I came up to the sideline, I remember scoring, but I didn't remember everything that happened during that drive. And so when I got to the sideline, I told the coach I think I might have a concussion. And the reason I thought I did because when I hit the guy, it wasn't even head-to-head contact. It was a whiplash. Mm-hmm. And then my whole brain just got warm. Like, my head just got warm.
That's the best way to say it.
I was like, what is this feeling? So I go to the sideline, and I sit down next to Jedediah Collins, our fullback, which is like he was a nerdy guy. So I said, so how do you know when you have a concussion? Because I hadn't had one this severe. So he said, when you hit your head and you feel your vertebrae and not, he was saying some sign. I like, thanks, Jed. Never mind. He was on my left, so I turned to my right, and Reggie's sitting there on the bench, defense out there. He's just like this on the bench, holding his shoulder pads. I said, Reggie. He said, what's up, bro? I said, how do you know when you have a concussion? He said, oh, you'll know. And when I went to go sit down on the bench, the running back coach had told me, listen, don't tell anybody yet. Go sit down on the bench, see how you feel. I'm going to come back over and check on you. He goes down to talk to the head coach real quick. And while he's doing that, I'm talking to Reggie and Jed. He said he turns back around. And when Reggie told me, oh, you'll know, I wasn't playing with my brain. I said, Doc! Hey, Doc! Hey, Doc! Hey, Doc, get over here! Hey, so I called the doctor down. I said, bro, I think I got a concussion. So they take me through the protocol, and they said, you know what, we got to take you upstairs. So they took me upstairs. They asked me more questions when I got upstairs to the locker room. And probably 3 or 4 weeks later, we're watching film in the running back meeting room, and the running back coach pauses the film just in the middle. It was random, really random. We were preparing, and he said, guys, I got to tell you about this guy over here. He said, I told him to sit on the bench and don't say nothing. I was going to come back and check on him. I go down there and talk to the head coach. He got the whole ambulance over there talking to him. I said, I'm not playing with my brain. I'm not playing with it.
Not the brain, dude.
And so for the next.
It don't heal.
And so when that game was over, when I went home, they gave me like a ice helmet. And so it's like a helmet that you just kind of put over your head. And when it cools off, you put it back in the freezer. You just take it and put it back on. And so, but like, it's not above a pro. So the type of questions they asked me, I would think it would be more of a protocol than that. Sure. I think they like hook me up to some machines and do some. It was none of that. It was just ask
like
questions.
Behind the curtain. No, I don't know what happens behind the curtain.
I think they just what they do upstairs, they just do on the field behind the curtain now.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's if those are the type of questions they're asking about something like that, I wonder what type of that question they're asking before they hire a person to come in on these big deals.
By the way, somebody said Dad is watching. And Art, is that?
Oh, yeah, no, that's my dad.
Okay, that's your dad?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What
All
up,
right.
Pops?
What up, Dad?
Gang. Yeah, that's
Because
Pops right there.
Art and I are gonna have a catch. So on that day, we're gonna wrong some rights. Okay.
You know what though?
Poor
Hey, Dad,
Art.
come up here for the barbecue. You know what?
Yeah, come on up, Will.
Because my dad is, like I told you, he's the barbecue of the family.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so my mom seasons, and then my dad, he cooks it on the smoker on the grill for a period of time, and he takes it out, and then he cooks it. He finishes it in the oven, and when it comes out, it's just like And when I gave up, that's what I missed the most was those barbecues. And so I missed that the most out of anything. If I was to go back and get anything, I would go back and try my dad ribs. That's what I would eat first.
Ribs are so good.
That's what I would eat first.
I love it. Scott said, I'd rather have the Fords who make mistakes in hiring the right people but stay out of the people's way than to have an owner like Jerry Jones or Con in Jacksonville who have to have final say on everything involving the team and get in everyone's way from succeeding. Jerry Jones is never going to work. He's never going to win a Super Bowl. Never. He might have some good teams, okay? But he is never going to win a Super Bowl. And I'll tell you why he's never going to win a Super Bowl.
Why is that?
He's the general manager. That's the problem. He is still, whether he wants to admit it or not, fighting the ghost of Jimmy Johnson because everybody gives Jimmy Johnson credit for winning those Super Bowls, for putting that team together, for coaching that team. Even though he was only the coach for two of them and Barry Switzer came in and won the third, he is chasing that ghost. There's nothing more than Jerry Jones wants to do than to basically tell everybody they're number one, but not use the index finger and not use the ring finger. You know what finger I'm talking about. You know he wants to do that more than anybody else. And he's made so many boneheaded mistakes because he doesn't know what he doesn't know. They're always in cap trouble. They're always in cap trouble. Always, constantly in cap trouble.
You know what, though? He pays his players, right?
He can do what he wants.
He does what he wants.
Oh,
right?
I'm not saying he can't. I'm telling you he's never going to win. Never going to win. He's not a general manager. To me, you know what it is? It's a stay in your lane thing, okay? It is. It's a stay in your lane thing.
You know what, though? But is that him just being passionate about his team and him wanting his team to win and being involved?
I think it's ego.
Is it ego? I think it's passion.
Do you really?
I think it's passion.
See, do you remember his? Here's and if people don't remember the background, he and
you know what? It's both.
He and Jimmy remember they were allegedly BFFs, but that was never the case, okay? So he took over the Cowboys. Everybody laughed at them for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden they got really good. And, I can still hear Pat Summerall say when the Lions pounded the Cowboys, John, I think these are the two best teams of the 90s, right?
That's how he said it?
Yes. And then the Lions never won another playoff game, and the Cowboys went and won 3 Super Bowls. But what happened is Jerry started to get really jealous because everybody was talking up about Jimmy. It's almost like, think of a coach and a general manager, Joik. If Martin's sitting back and everybody's talking about what a genius Jim Schwartz is, maybe Martin's sitting back going, even though Martin's not that type, why aren't they talking about me? Jimmy Johnson did everything. He did the shopping. He did the cooking. So the famous story goes, after they won that second Super Bowl against the Bills, Jerry told some people, I've built such a great team. He didn't build crap. Anybody could coach his team to a Super Bowl. And Jimmy was like, later, see ya. And Jimmy went on to Miami, didn't have success. And then Barry Switzer came into Dallas, won the Super Bowl, not the first year, but the second year. But after that, everything started to go down like this. So what did everybody say? Well, clearly it was Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson did the shopping. Jimmy Johnson did the cooking. Jerry Jones has heard this for so many years now that I am convinced that he needs to do this for his own soul and show everybody, see, I did it without Jimmy. Jimmy didn't have to build this team. I built this team.
How many years later? How many decades later?
Jimmy was fired in 1994. Think about that.
Yeah.
And Jerry has gone on record. Jerry has gone on record saying the Dallas Cowboys will never, ever hire
breaking
a
news.
general manager.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Corey just texted me and said Stafford is gone.
What?
Yeah, let me see what I can pull up over here. Campbell was telling with that question on him. That's what Corey said. I don't know what that means.
Well, we'll wait till Corey with a K comes in.
Yeah,
here.
I know. All I got in cap locks was Stafford is gone. So let me do some research over here.
Well, you know what? I'm going to see.
No, he's gone. Brad Holmes to evaluate quarterback Matthew Stafford and the rest of the roster.
Tell Corey with a K to get in here. He can't drop something like
Yeah,
that
like
on
that.
us
I'm
without
going to go grab
explaining
him
that.
real quick.
Yeah, unless the pressure's still going on. Do I think Matthew Stafford will be back? No, I don't. I've said that before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think he's going to be back.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I really, truly do. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, but I don't think he's coming back. Just one man's opinion. I think, I think it's a mutual parting of the way, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not speaking for Matthew because I've never had a conversation with Matthew about it other than one time I asked him on the radio, where are you at? What are you thinking? And he said, there's time to talk about that after the season. So that was during the season. And I've never talked to Holmes, and I've never talked to, obviously, Campbell about it. But I know I told you this, Joik, and I think Matthew Stafford is going to be gone.
We got
really
Stick.
do.
Yeah, we got
Hi,
Stick coming
Stick.
in with
How
some
are
with some
you
news.
familiar with Stick's work?
Hey, how's it going?
Stick in the morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Stick in the morning.
Stick, Joey,
The Morning Woodward show.
Corey with a K.
Yeah.
I was building up to that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The Morning Wood.
The Morning
Wood
Wood.
show. There you go.
Always had that morning wood. What you
Yeah.
got for
All
us
right, so
today?
what's up?
So what's up?
I just got the same text from Corey that you guys got too, so I ran back there. He's still in the press conference right now, but I guess Dan Campbell had a quote saying that it's going to be a discussion about his future here, and the way he said it, it was more of it's going to be a discussion of how we can move on from him. So, when I got the text, I thought the same thing. Like, oh my God, they just traded him. It's over. It's gone. But this is what Corey's saying right now.
I told you. I think Matthew Stafford wants out.
Yeah, Corey says he's not quote unquote gone, but he seems to be gone in the future. Campbell wouldn't speak on the future with him in Detroit. Said a convo between him, Stafford, and Holmes has to happen, which it should anyways.
Right.
Scott just posted this. Per the Detroit News, Matthew is a total stud, but won't get into it any further than that. Per the Detroit News. So when Corey texted Art saying Corey said Matthew is gone, there's nothing official about
Right.
that. He feels the same way that I think Matthew's gone, but we're not reporting that he's gone. So please make the difference between that. One man's opinion, and this is what we call reading the tea leaves.
Yeah.
One man's opinion. I think Matthew Stafford's gone.
Well, and I think it says a lot when the new head coach doesn't come in and lay down the law and be like, no, Stafford's my guy.
Yeah. So Detroit News said that Stafford likely staying put, but there's one possible trade partner.
Colts? It's got to be the Colts, right?
There are a few.
No? Anybody?
There are a few. No, there are a few. No, there's a few. There are a few.
Okay.
The Saints are Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely one. I mean, there's a lot of talk that Ben is just too damn beat up.
And I told you before, I like him going to Washington.
That's a great
That would be
spot.
a really good fit.
I think that's a great spot for Stafford. That'll be similar to Tom Brady going to the Bucks. They need that piece on offense.
If you added him to what Alex Smith did, that team, I mean, it was what Alex Smith did. Say what you want. The guy's a game manager. Matthew Stafford is a playmaker. Ooh, that could be interesting.
On that defense.
Oh boy.
And their defense is what top? They finished top 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their defense is playing lights out. Offensively, they were struggling.
And you give them Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin. That's scary,
Yeah.
man. That is scary.
What? Steve brought up something. I'm not arguing with it. I'm just going to throw something out there. But he
I
said
won't go to
Colts,
the Texans.
Patriot, Texans.
No way he goes to Texans.
Can I say this?
No way
and
he goes to Texans.
Who thought that these words would be coming out of your mouth? Are you ready? Who the hell would want to go to New England right now? They don't have anything. They really don't. Look at their roster. I'm not being funny. Look at their roster. They don't have anything.
Right.
This is years and years and years of being the franchise and having the greatest coach ever.
Watch what I tell you. If he can choose, I think it'd be his best interest to go to DC.
I think so too.
That's his best.
I think so too.
That's the best team right now, the best fit, and I think he'll be happy there.
Yeah.
I think the
Colts-
city. Yeah, I
Colts
think
too, though. I think the Colts too, man. Like that running game, that defense, that all they're missing is a quarterback as well. So I
Yeah.
think both those spots would be good landing
Yeah,
spots.
it would. I think Indianapolis is more of a slow town. And Stafford, he doesn't do too much anything now anyway. He's just, he's always kind of been like to himself. He doesn't, but very involved in the community. And so Indianapolis, but that might be slow for Kelly.
I hope he stays.
It might be too slow for Kelly.
Like Joik, I'm serious. I hope he stays. I don't think he will. I don't know that for sure. Please do not read into that. That is no inside information, any crap like that. That is reading a lot of tea leaves. And you know what it is to me? It's what's not being said that makes me think that he's going someplace else.
How many players from you can check this out for me, Art, please, is how many players from New England opted out this year?
Oh, there were a ton on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Due to COVID?
Yeah, due to COVID.
No, but
but how many other teams did that?
Well, and Scott, let's not forget though, Matthew Stafford's on offense. They don't have crap on offense.
I want to make
They
a
don't.
point.
I mean, seriously, look at what they have on offense.
I want to make a point here. Art.
Yeah, 67. That's how many opted out. How many Patriots players have opted out? According to this article from August 2020, 67 players chose to opt out of the training camp roster. So.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. But how many? Is that more than any other team in the NFL?
That information I do not have.
You have to remember out of that number though, there are probably let's be honest, 50 some odd guys that were never going to make the team anyway. If you're talking about a training camp roster,
Yeah.
you know as well as I do those training camp.
I'm
when
gonna tell you
training camp
this. I'm
starts,
gonna tell you this. I don't think any other NFL team numbers was that high, and that shows you how the New England Patriots run their practices in their program. There, people don't want to be a part of it. They want to be part of their winning culture, but they don't want to go be a part of that type of system. And I heard stories about the system when I played there, and that made me not want to go. After I was already, I had 2 opportunities, well 3, to go to New England. And the first time I said no, they said no to me the first time because they didn't give me enough time to sign my contract. When I went to Buffalo. Second time I opted out, went to Philly. And then the third time, I opted out again after they offered me because they didn't pay me what I wanted to get paid. And so if I'm going to go somewhere, I want to be happy when I'm playing. Right? I want to be happy. I want to enjoy.
Sure.
Because when you're with a group of guys and you're mentally, right? You're mentally there, right? You're mentally there. You're playing with these guys. You're there with them every freaking day. You have to see them every day. And when you go somewhere, you're just like, dang, I got to go here today. They treat us like kids. They don't respect us as man. We got to go. Like people, now when you're winning, you deal with it, right? Because you're gonna make up for it with endorsements and sponsorships in the off season. But if you have an opportunity, this was a way for them to be like, we can what? We don't have to play and still get paid. Yo, we opting out.
If you guys have
We're not going
headphones,
back.
If you guys have headphones on, I'm going to play the clip of exactly what Dan Campbell said just now.
my
if-
kids.
I'm
Yeah, just tell
going
me.
to step out.
Thank
Thank
you,
you guys
Steve.
for having
Appreciate
us.
it, buddy.
Yeah, I'll run down.
Make sure you
If Corey
check
has
these guys
any
out in
other
the morning.
news.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Hey, get out of here, Steve.
Thank you, Troy.
Corey with a K, gosh damn it, word your text differently, okay?
All caps.
That's the lesson to take from this, Corey with a K. Come on now.
I'm going to
Hey, it's gone.
I'm going to play the clip right
That's
now.
another one
Play
we're
the
going to
clip.
talk
Go
about.
ahead.
You know, I need to sit down with Brad. I mean, we've had discussions, but here's what I'd say about Matthew is, man, he's a stud. All right, he's a stud. He is one of the toughest quarterbacks you'll ever see. He's extremely talented. I know he's a team guy, and listen, I know he wants to win, and so I'll leave it at that. That's what I do know.
Interesting. So the actual quote, I can read it once again. Like he just said in the video, I'm going to have to sit down with Brad Holmes. But here's what I'll say. Matthew is a stud. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks you'll ever see. He's extremely talented, a team guy, and I know he wants to win, so we'll leave it at that.
I don't think he wants to be here. Sorry, I hate to sound like a broken record.
I think he wants to be here, just not under these circumstances. That's what it is.
Listen, and I'm going to tell you,
He's been through enough rebuilds,
would I stomach another rebuild at this point in time in his career? Absolutely not.
No.
And you know what? I want to get back to the New England thing because I'm serious when I say this.
But who better? Now, at this point
Who's got better than us? Everybody? No,
Yeah.
but listen, Joy, this is what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying
I
is...
had to get that shot.
I mean, what I'm saying, Sean, at this point, it's on him. All right? For me, I would stay here through a rebuild because, I'm homegrown, right? Mm-hmm. He's originally from Dallas, Texas, played in Georgia, and now had his long NFL career here in Detroit. Now, where do he want to set up shop when he's done playing? It's getting to that point for Stafford now, right? Do I want to be in Detroit? Do I want to be somewhere else? Because he's getting in the point in his career where his body is going to start breaking down eventually, which is already breaking down because he's taking a lot of hits. Now, it's not about the money now. It's about, I want to win. I want to win now. I don't have that much time left. Where can I go now and be a winner?
Remember when people like me and Scott Bischoff were crazy for wanting to draft a quarterback so highly last year? Remember that? Those were good days. I stand by it 100%. You cannot, to what Scott just said, the hardest thing in football is to find a top-line quarterback. You do everything you can to keep him once you find him. To me, last year, Joik, okay? And no disrespect to Jeff Okudah, I think the guy's going to... You do not find yourself in a position very often where you can go grab a stud. And you don't have to play him. And everybody made it or Matthew Stafford thing. And I said all along, I don't want to get rid of Matthew Stafford. I can do both.
Yeah.
I can grab a quarterback because, look, newsflash, the 2020 Lions weren't going to be good. Did we think they were going to be this bad? No, but they weren't going to be good. So then you have that chip in your hand. If Matthew Stafford decides to go or you decide to make a move, you have that chip in your hand. Kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs did. They had a pretty good quarterback, a good game manager in Alex Smith. They had a chip in their hand by the name of Patrick Mahomes. Kind of like the Green Bay Packers have done twice now. They had this Brett Favre character. Maybe you've heard of him. They had this chip named Aaron Rodgers. And now they have Aaron Rodgers, maybe heir apparent. And it might be 2 or 3 years, like it took for Aaron Rodgers. But eventually, they feel that they've got the guy that can replace Aaron Rodgers and continue that impressive, era and lineage that the Green Bay Packers have had. I said it last year. I'll say it now. Look, you cannot put a price tag on having a stud quarterback in this league.
You can't.
Can't do it.
No, I mean, if you want to be a winning franchise, that's period. What you see in the comments?
Jenna said, I won't believe he's gone until Matt himself personally says it. Scott said, you don't find yourself in the top 5 of the draft to get a potential stud quarterback very often unless you're the Lions. Then it's every 3 years. You know what? Hey, listen. But think about this. Let's think about this. This year they were terrible. And I'm serious. I think they were worse. They were worse than the 2019 team this year. I really do. I think they were worse. You're picking 7th. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the NFL. And in another year you might be horrible, terrible, non-competitive, and you're picking 10th. So how often do you really find yourself in that position to go, we could grab a stud here. We could grab a full-fledged, one of the top-notch, maybe not the top quarterback off the board, but,
why not?
Maybe number 2, unless you move up.
I mean, on the board.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the board. I care about production.
Yeah.
What do you do when you get here?
You know what it is? I think people, to me, Joey, just one man's opinion, I think people, there's this backwards, well, why are we spending that much money for a backup? Why not? I'm looking at it as an investment. I invested in this guy. Yeah, he's taking up some of my salary right now. You're a businessman. You know what? Thank the Lord, I've made some good investments in my life, okay?
All right.
And I'm not looking at my investment in year 1 or year 2.
No.
No.
You're in it for the long haul.
You got it. And to me, that's why I don't understand why more people don't think that way. Well, you have a perfectly good quarterback.
Because
okay, but he's a perfectly good quarterback who his contract's up in a couple years, or the prospects of a rebuild aren't good with him. So how about I invest in my next quarterback?
Right.
I don't know. It just, to me, it makes sense.
When is Stafford contract up? Is it
2 years, right? 2 years?
2 years?
Yeah.
And so what they're probably trying to do now is try to trade him to another team to get either draft picks or some more good players in to start rebuilding. And you'll know that probably after the draft. We'll see how they draft. We'll see what their logic is. We'll see what their method is.
He becomes a free agent in 2023. So he signed a 5-year contract.
2 years. Yep. Steve said, taken from the presser, Campbell wants to run the ball, likes the physicality.
So we're going to have to get...
You got some game left, bro?
Huh?
You got some game left?
Yeah, man.
Joy, come out of retirement, baby.
Yeah, give me
come on, Joy.
Nah.
You wouldn't be fourth on a depth chart? You wouldn't go do it fourth on a depth chart?
Put me on the team, and I'll be a player's coach. I'll be in the locker room. I'll coach the guys up. I'll keep the locker room close.
You can do that.
I'll do that. But do I have to be on the team for that? I can be a player developer and just be in the team, like be in the locker room with the guys and be that guy that they can go to, so.
Great stuff. All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, Scott Bischoff is going to be here. We'll talk some draft with him. I guarantee you Scott Bischoff is going to say exactly what I just said because Joik, he and I did a podcast last year for the Lions radio, and people killed us for suggesting the Lions take a quarterback. And it was, I hate to say it, I'm not being I think some people were really being simpleton about it.
Yeah.
What? I thought you liked Stafford. I do
like Stafford.
I like him a lot, but let's invest in the future. Because this guy, in all likelihood, isn't going to be here in a couple years anyway. What if a moment like, what we could perhaps be living through now happens and he says, I don't want to do this rebuild thing anymore, man. Can you get me out of here?
If the Washington football team comes to the line and say, listen, we want Stafford here. Let's make a deal. Let's make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I think everybody wins in that. I think everyone can win in that trade, in that deal.
Kevin said, do you trust Quinn to pick a quarterback, guys? Can I remind you of this? Quinn. Do you know who picked Calvin Johnson? Matt Millen. Did I trust Matt Millen to get that pick right? Absolutely not. 1,000% no. But sometimes, you know what? The talent's going to supersede the absolute abomination that the general manager is. I mean, right?
True.
That's Calvin Johnson. I could have picked Calvin Johnson. You could have picked Calvin Johnson. Matt Millen selected Calvin Johnson. So I get your point. Bob Quinn said all the right things, but did not follow through. Millen's?
Yeah,
where do I start? You could go Charles. You could say though was at least injury prone. Mike Williams, in my opinion, was the worst. Yeah. Mike Williams was just lazy. He was lazy. He had more interest in doing his gaming thing and smearing Cheetos orange all over his controllers. That's what Mike Williams was interested in.
Hilarious.
His controllers were bright orange from Cheetos.
From Cheetos?
Yeah.
They call them Cheetos.
You should have seen it, but you could see it on his fingers. Williams, are you eating Cheetos again? Mm-mm. Just orange mustache and his fingertips.
Had him in his pockets at practice in his Reebok Lions gear outside practicing with Cheetos in like the front pouch, the kangaroo pouch. No, we had a player.
Some might say his belly resembled that of a kangaroo pouch.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not gonna say the name. Right? We had a guy that I played with, and he know who he is. And we used to call him Cheetos.
Really? For real?
We call him Cheetos. Because he'll come in. So it'll be Victory Monday, and it's like you come out, you come to practice, you just walk through like some errors. You watch a little bit of film, and you go home. It's nothing major. And so he came in. He was still tipsy from the night before. He was walking into practice. He was like still kind of couldn't get his balance quite right. He goes to the back of the stretch line. He gets with this group. We start stretching, and the receivers and the running backs are watching this guy walk to his line, and we look back and we're like, what's wrong with him? And they look back like he drunk. Right, he's drunk. All right, like still from the date night, like from partying the night before from winning the game. And so it's really Victory Monday. So we're like, okay, it's Victory Monday. So he goes to the back of the line. He's stretching. And all we hear is, and we look back and we just see him eating Cheetos in the stretch line. Dog. So the next day, what we did was we all, and this is how close our team was, right? So the next day, we, not Tuesday, but Wednesday, we came back in, we all bought Cheetos and put them on top of our locker. So if he ever got hungry, he could just grab Cheetos on the top of the locker.
That's beautiful. I love those jalapeno Cheetos for what it's worth. Those are
they're not bad. They're not bad.
No, Scott, I used to call Mike Williams Cheetos, Funyuns, Doritos. It was just whatever snack food. And then Joy Key was the type of guy, he'd look you straight in the eye and say, man, I get it. I know I've been my own worst enemy. This offseason, I've trained harder than I've ever trained. I'm going to show it on the field. He was the master at telling you what he thought you wanted to hear. He was an absolute pro.
Who was this?
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
You know, because at least with Charles, you can say Charles got injured. Charles wasn't the same player after the second time he broke his collarbone. He just wasn't. I think he changed physically and mentally. Mike Williams was just a lazy waste of talent.
I remember training.
There's no other way to say it.
You know, I trained with Charles.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that?
He's a great guy.
Great
Rest
guy.
his soul. He was a great guy.
Great guy. I'm gonna give you a story about Charles.
Super nice.
And, comedian.
Yes.
Comedian. So I'll give this quick story real quick, then we'll take our break. I'm coming out of college, 09. I don't know, you know Worldwide West?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I get introduced to Uncle West in 09.
You know Uncle West, don't you, Scott? Worldwide West?
Worldwide West. All
Yeah,
right.
you probably do.
All right, so you know who he is. And so Uncle West hooks me up with his trainer who trains athletes. So I'm working out with this trainer, and I'm training here for the rest of the year because I'm still in school. So I'm training at Lifetime Fitness with this trainer. The same time I'm training there, Charles is training with the same trainer that I'm training with because we're both connected through Uncle West. And so they put us on this treadmill. We're doing this thing called a pyramid, right? We keep the speed at, I think we keep the speed like at 10, and we start on a 0 incline, and we go up every 2. We go up like every 3. We go up 3 every set. We're on for 20 seconds, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. We go up to 15, right, and back down, and that's the end of the workout. And so we get to about 6. All right, we get to about 6, and I look at the trainer. I say, "Can we get some waters?" Right? He said, "I'll go grab some water." So he leaves to go grab the water. He comes back. By the time he comes back, now we're on the way down. We keep doing the workout. We're on our way back down. When the trainer left, Charles just stopped. He just stopped doing the workout. He just chilled. He just stopped. And I'm still going, right? And so on the way back down, I'm dying, right? I'm struggling trying to get through. I'm struggling. But I'm sticking with it though. When he comes back, we're like on 6 again, but we're coming back down. And I don't think we were going by 3. I think we were going by 2, every 2. And then we got the 14. We did the 14 with the 15, came back down. So when we got to about 8 coming down, he came back with the waters. And so my break, I'm chugging it. But by this time, I'm dying on the treadmill. Yeah. And here go Charles. We see the trainer coming back. He hops back on the treadmill, and he was running. And the first thing that comes out of his mouth, right, is, Come on, Drake. If I can do it, you can do it too. And I look over. I don't throw him under the bus. I look over him. I look at him like, if you don't shut the up talking to me.
What a weasel!
Oh God! Right?
Oh my gosh!
Oh God! And so we finished doing the thing, and I never said nothing to him. Right? I never said nothing to him. And the next day we have to come back for training, and then he doesn't even show up. And he said, yeah, he ate Taco Bell and he's not feeling good. I said, in the back of my head, I'm like, he just don't want to get this work in. In the back of my head, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, man, Charles was a funny guy.
You know, it's funny you say that. He he didn't live far from me either. There was a little Mexican place that he loved to go to, right? Like, I could tell you where it is, and he actually had some trouble there. But he loved him some Mexican food. For real. So it's funny you say that.
Funny guy, man. Like I told you, he was one of the only guys I talked to when I worked security for the Lions. When I say talk, I'll be in his room talking with him and Eddie Drummond doing training camp, and real talk, just kicking games.
Yeah. Listen, very quickly, we're going to talk to Scott Bischoff, Corey with a K as well in just a moment. You heard the name everywhere, MyBookie. Now, why are you hearing the name? They're the best out there. If you want a line to bet, okay, they got you covered. Everything. NFL, NBA, college ball, MMA, soccer, hockey, they got all the latest odds, period. And right now, all you have to do is visit their mobile-friendly website today and get your deposit match halfway up to a cool $1,000. That's right. Just use the promo code Woodward when you make your first deposit. The best part is they make it simple with a variety of ways to get involved. Deposit instantly, whether it be credit card, bank transfer, Bitcoin, or more. Tomorrow's a day that many of us never thought would be coming to Michigan, and MyBookie is hooking you up. Whether you're at home, on the go, your laptop, your phone, it's not too late to make that New Year's resolution to get paid a reality. Bet, win, and get paid at MyBookie. Remember, use the promo code Woodward and get 50% off of your first deposit matched.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
I'm Sean Baligian. He's Joik Bell.
Oh my gosh!
I'm Sean Baligian. That's Scott Bischoff. Hi. How are you?
How are you?
How's everything going?
Great.
Scott, I just need to remind everybody. Remember when we were crazy and haters for wanting a quarterback last year? Remember that? That was a good time.
Sure.
It was a wonderful, wonderful time.
Yeah. So let's go.
Why do you hate Matthew Stafford?
Let's go forward 1 year.
Did you know, Scott? Did you know it's possible to have a starting quarterback and an heir apparent on the same roster? Did you know that?
That's crazy.
Can you believe it? It's
Who's
possible.
done that?
I can't think of anybody, especially successful franchises, that won Super Bowls like, I don't know, the Green Bay Packers or the Kansas City Chiefs or anything like that. Corey with a K is in with us right now. Corey with a K. If you can jump on the mic, I'd love to chat with you because it's funny.
That's a cool last name if I could.
With a K?
Yeah, with a K. That's kind of unique. It's
Corey
cool.
with a K, E. Woods on Twitter. Corey, what was your takeaway? It's funny because a lot of people are bringing some of the quotes up now in our Facebook page, and we appreciate that. But Corey with a K, what was your takeaway?
Hold on 1 second. Let me get the mic on.
All right, that's okay. That's all right.
That might help out. But what I took away from it were, first off, that was the longest opening statement I have ever seen in any type of press conference. He went 20 minutes straight, no notes at all. And it was just straight emotion. And he was a little bit all over the place, but you could see that he really wanted the job, that his ego was not into it, and that he has an idea of what he wants to do here in Detroit. Along with that, from his comments, you can tell that this is going to be a long process of they're going to tear this down to the bottom and build it back up. That's the main thing that I took away from it.
Big gulp.
And just a few more things that really stuck out. First off, my question got dodged, so I'm already heard about that one.
Why Eamon do you like that?
Yeah, he said great question, then dodged it. But
I love Eamon.
But he wouldn't. When they asked him about Stafford, he was really non-committal. He basically said that it's going to be a conversation between him, Brad Holmes, and Stafford. But he just talked about Stafford's toughness and that he's a stud. And another thing that I really did like about it is that he said that he does not want to be the smartest person in the room. He wants people that are going to be with him and disagree with him and point out if he's doing something wrong, because he said it's, he's sick of hearing that. And this is his words. He's sick of that shit.
Yeah.
So,
good.
I passed out for a minute. What?
Yeah,
You passed out?
right.
That's what we need.
I'm so glad to hear
right
that.
direction.
Thank you. Joe Lombardi, shout out. How you doing, buddy? Coach
Stop
Patricia, what up?
Stop it.
Here's the exact quote that he said. I don't want a bunch of people that agree with me. That's a recipe for disaster. He said that as far as changing the culture, it's got to be a trickle-down effect. It's got to start from the top. He said once the players see that the organization is running correctly from the top, that's going to trickle down into the locker room, and that's going to make them want to play hard, and that's going to make players want to come to Detroit. Let me see what else. He said that when this opening came up, he said he got on the phone with his agent and said, do whatever you can to get me in front of Sheila Ford. I want the job. So I could go on and on because
No. We want to hear this.
Okay.
So this is meaty stuff. We need this.
All right, I'm gonna keep on going.
We hungry. I'm vegan. I'm hungry, and I'm juicing.
He said, "I wanted this job. I know this team and this community. Detroit is made of some really great people. This place has been kicked, battered, and bruised. This team is going to take on the identity of this city." That's all. Let me see what else I got on here.
Listen to what he said. I needed that last part. You know what that sounds like, Sean? Who do we have on the show who said the same thing?
Troy Weaver.
That's what we need here.
Yeah, we do.
We need a team.
And may I add this? I'll be the bad guy. You talk the good part. I'll talk the bad part.
Okay.
The bad part. And a guy that realizes that this team is a ways away. And I think that's one thing I like about both guys. They're not coming in here. They're not planting rows of flowers and saying, look at the pretty flowers. We're going to be so good next year. They're saying, I got work to do. This is going to take time. And I respect that. That's why I told you, I like Troy Weaver infinitely more than anything in the last 10 years because you know what? The Pistons aren't good. He knows they aren't good. That's the best part.
He's going to
build it up, man. He's going to build it up.
I don't think he's saying that they're not good.
He'll never say it.
He'll never say it. He won't say it.
Sure.
He know that they can't win games now because they have some growing to do, but they have the talent on the team to be able to win. Now, some of our top dogs on the team, like, say, Griffin, we just need him healthy. He has to be healthy. He has to be healthy. And if he can't stay healthy, then we have to move on. I like Griffin as a player, but if he can't stay healthy, it's just time to move on and bring in another factor because this team could be similar to the 05, the 04, 05 team where we have a lot of pieces. We have like a lot of role players. Not superstars, but really good players that can come together and be something similar to what the 04-05 season was for the Detroit Pistons. That's the type of team that we're putting together.
But no, enjoy to that point, except you're in about the year 2000 right now. You're a good few years away. And I hope that they stink the rest of the way and get a high draft choice. Because I think that's the smart thing to do. He has done a good job bringing in youth that we can build. And you know what? Get yourself a high draft choice this year. And you know what? Now you're on the way back to that point that you talked about. And that's why I applauded when Corey said that. We have to stop lying to ourselves, okay? This Detroit Lion franchise is so far away from being good. It's insane.
And I want to add a couple more things. There are two more things that I think that are really poignant that came from that conversation. They asked him about the defense. And the pieces that he had to work with, he said this verbatim, let's call a spade a spade. There's probably more pieces offensively than defensively that have me fired up to be here.
Absolutely.
Another thing that
this was a historically bad defense. Let's not
historically
sugarcoat it. It was bad. Horrible defense. Good for him.
And I did love his transparency about Aaron Glenn. There were the reports that Aaron Glenn was going to be heading here for the defensive coordinator position, and he said, it's no secret. I've spoken to Aaron Glenn, and they're still talking to him. But he said he's also interviewed 4 other candidates for the coordinator positions, and he's going to be getting right to work on that as soon as the press conference ended. So,
no, I love hearing this stuff. You know what? We have Scott Bischoff here, and we're going to talk some draft with him. And I'm sure you're starting to see all the different mock drafts that are out there. Again, the first step in the road to recovery is admitting you have a problem. Hi, my name is Sean. I'm a mockaholic. I read too many mock drafts. Can I ask you this? What is the wind? What does the wind say about Coach Campbell? Does he have a reputation? Have you talked to any of your boys about him? Is there anything out there about Coach Campbell? Because I'll tell you what, I love what I hear about Brad Holmes. But are you hearing anything about Coach Campbell?
So the concept of, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
It was about Marvin Lewis, but it's similar. I like that he's not a coordinator.
Thanks, Corey, with the K.
And a so-called guru coming here with a specific idea. More that he's the leader. He's a guy that's going to get everybody on the same page, going in the right direction, and then he's going to defer to whatever coordinators he brings in. That's going to be the most important part of this, is who's running the offense and what are they doing, who's running the defense and what are they doing. But as far as a guy who has the ability to motivate, and people talk about him in a very positive manner, you hear all those things. So there's hope going forward. But just like the whole mock draft thing, it's, the truth is that we're not totally going to know where this is for a few years. It's almost a non-answer to your question.
No, I get it.
But there's really no way to answer it and to know what I'm talking about when in terms of what is he as a coach, what's going to happen going forward. I mean, everything you just heard, I think, is brutal honesty, and it's great to hear that he feels it's a long process, because that was one of the most frustrating things last year, when you heard that for them to keep their job, they needed to win important games at important times, and they needed to be playoff competitive. And anybody looking at it was like, no, that's not going to happen. That just seemed like a super unrealistic view of where they were last year going into the season. So I like hearing that they're not. I mean, if he would have come out and said our goal is to make the playoffs this year, well, obviously it is, but that's unrealistic. It's just, things would have to go so perfectly well for you in every way for you to even sniff that. So I like the concept that they're being real and authentic about where they are as a franchise and the work that needs to be done. It's interesting they gave him 6 years.
Right.
To me, that tells me something. What do you think? What does that tell you if you give a coach? I mean, I know that you could just move on.
They're giving him time to get it together because they know they need a lot of work. And I think as a coach coming into this situation, you want some type of security, right? And so for him to sign, this is what I need in order to bring me here. I want to work with you guys, but you guys have to work with me. You got to give me time because
it's going to take time.
We're bad. We're bad.
They are.
I think the next winter season we might be 3 years.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I'm going to go back to what do you know what endears me to Troy? Troy's not writing any checks. Troy is getting to work.
Because they hold you to it.
You got it.
They hold you to it.
No, and you know what? But to me, I think he also knows what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Lions. What was a quote you used earlier? Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Yeah. A lot of guys have done that. A lot of guys have done that.
Right.
Hey, what is that?
Past 4 years.
Don't worry, it's raining. It rains a lot here in the
Past 4
Detroit
years.
area, right? And I think, to me, that's step one. He isn't walking in, showing you how beautiful his roses are. Look, we're in a bad spot right now. Those aren't his exact words, but you know what?
Yeah,
you have to be cognizant of what you're taking over.
And in this wordplay, right? But I like the wordplay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not rebuilding.
Yes.
It's restoring.
Yeah.
We're restoring. We're bringing everything back.
I think it's great. Yes, know what you are.
And let me get some chew.
And if you can look forward a little bit to what does it mean going forward, that their mentality is that this isn't a retool kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's rebuilding, there's retooling on the fly kind of. To me, that doesn't sound like a person who thinks that they're, a couple free agents away and a good draft away from being competitive. That sounds to me like somebody who understands that this thing. It might not even be at the bottom. That is impressive, isn't it?
Thank you.
You know what, they used to do that in the locker room, that's what they do. They kind of keep them up, cover in meetings all day.
Can't believe how many guys do it. Seriously. It's
I mean,
amazing.
so many guys do it. And so I've always been envious because I don't do it, but like I always wanted to be able to do that. Do it again, Sean. And they do it. Can you do it with your index finger?
I've never done it with my index finger. I always did it. It always worked better for me for the thumb.
It's like
you know why they do that?
It's like the pat it down.
Just pack it. That's it.
Just to pack it.
See that? Nice and packed.
But it's the simple stuff. I can't
yeah,
do
it is.
I can't do that. And they'll take it. I'm like, what's the point?
You know what, Scott? Though to your point as well. I mean, this I think this is also going to lay a roadmap to where they, because he and I had a conversation, right? Where and we'll talk about this on the draft show. It's going to be released in the next couple of days. We'll let you know exactly when, but be ready for it. There seems to be a consensus right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak for you, but a lot of people think that the draft is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then who knows at 7. Is that a fair statement? A lot of people think they already know how the first 6 picks are going to go?
No. I mean, who? What?
No, you don't have that feeling?
No, I don't, because I'm not sure that
I was probably drunk.
No, who did?
I thought you and I had that conversation. That you had a feeling which way the top 6 picks were going to go. Didn't we have that?
If we did, I have no memory of it, which is that's not a great sign.
Especially from a scout.
It's an even money chance I was drinking. I'm telling you right now.
So let's pretend it did happen,
Okay.
and I'll argue that what I told you that day was wrong. I mean, it's so early in the process. You know, the first 6 teams in the order, I would say it's super unrealistic that those are going to be the first 6 teams picking.
I think you're going to see it.
We have no idea. This is going to be a very strange year. Teams that identify talent on film and don't rely upon some of the external stuff like the Senior Bowl or Combine and some of the other, I mean, if a guy's fast on film, he's fast. Do you need a confirmation of that by him running a fast 40? Not necessarily, but so I think teams that do a really good job of figuring it out on film are going to have a touch of an edge in this coming draft. But, I mean, the Jets are in a perfect scenario to move out. I don't know who'd be going up to 2, but that throws a wrench in the works.
Are they sold on Sam Darnold? Have you heard anything? I mean, obviously
Saleh made a
comes
comment
in and,
that, I don't know that. I think it would be a mistake for them to move away from Darnold right now. If we just look at Adam Gase's history with how bad Tannehill looked with him running the show in Miami, and now all of a sudden he's a very viable starting quarterback. Darnold's very talented, super talented player. Does he do? I mean, are there throws he makes that you kind of cringe at? Yeah, but all quarterbacks do that.
He sees ghosts too.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's pressure driven, but they took Mekhi Becton as a left tackle last year, and you're in a position where you could take a pretty elite tackle in this class if you stay at 2, and all of a sudden, bookend
Sewell
tackles.
from Oregon.
Yeah,
right? He's head and shoulders above everybody.
I think he is. I don't even think it's close. So I would say that Sewell might play left tackle, and you could move Becton over to play right tackle. And in today's NFL, both tackle positions are super important. It's not like it once was where the left tackles are the premium guys, and if a guy can't play at left tackle, just fire him over there on the right side and whatever. That's not how it works anymore. So you need 2. But giving him two bookend types to keep him clean and keep him, relatively unpressured, I think it would help him a lot. They haven't had a lot for him to work with as far as receivers. They took Denzel Mims last year. He's a really good player going forward. I could see them staying with Darnold, signing a really good receiver as a free agent, and all of a sudden that offense looks really good. But I guess the point is that we saw Tannehill get made over and look very viable, and Darnold could too. But you're also picking 2nd overall, and it's going to be tough to find yourself picking 2nd overall again. So I think that depends on where they have these guys graded.
I told you, it's not as easy as you think it is, even for the bad franchises. Look, we have to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. Joik Bell, Scott Bischoff, Sean Baligian, Woodward Sports.
touchdown.
What's up, Joy? Hey, Joy!
Hey, what's up? What's going on here?
Oh, Joy! Hey, Joy! Hey!
Less than 1%. Less than 1 gram. Hi, how are you? So, Corey, is there any way that you can describe this on the air?
Yeah, please.
Because
this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I
It's gonna be a huge deal.
I want to make sure that I'm getting this correct.
And I want to be able to hear the interview.
Yeah,
if you can bring
I
it up.
need to hear it, but
context
Corey
is
with a
important.
K came in and
Context
said,
is key.
Corey, I'm going to let you describe the scenario. If
Okay,
that's
so
all right.
what happened was they were talking to Sheila Ford about the diversity hire. She got a question about diversity hires and the Lions process about it. You know, where did she feel on it? She said that she would like to believe that teams go into these processes colorblind, and she knows that, and she says that the NFL could do a lot more as opposed to the pipeline of that minority hiring. But the thing that's going to stick out most when she said as of the status of it right now, it is what it is.
That's not a great answer. Do any of us think that that's a? I mean, without the context, right? We don't know the context.
I don't know the context, but I wouldn't say that because me, you, Corey, we're in media, and we know that the spin is going to be, the headline is going to be, it is what it is.
People are going to
That was my thing. That's the main thing they're going to take out.
That's what they're going to take from it, right? And when you're dealing with media and you're dealing with sensitive topics, you always have to be prepared to answer these hard questions, right? And when you answer these questions, when you're in that type of limelight, you have to be politically correct, right? I mean, when you're in, for me, I don't have to be politically correct. I can say what I want to say, how I feel, based off facts, right? And based off my history and my lineage. I can speak from the heart, and I can. But when you are the chairman of an organization, you have to be prepared for that question, or just. I can't say you can't answer it. You have to answer it. You just have to be prepared for it. And when we're playing the game, we have these meetings about how to deal with the media, right? Because of situations like this, like the comment that Drew Brees made, the comment that these certain players make. You have to be conscious of kind of how you present it, because. Yeah, it won't go over well, especially here in Detroit.
It's not going to go over well, and that's
it's not.
It speaks to what you're talking about. You have to be prepared.
And I know Sheila, and I met her, and she's a wonderful woman. They better get ahead of this.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what she was referring to when she says it is what it is.
Yeah.
Is it just the NFL as a whole? Or?
So I have no comment.
She was talking about the state of like the where the pipeline is of the way NFL is going about handling the diversity hire. She said it needs to be changed, but she said as of right now it is what it is, but it needs to be changed.
So maybe there's some room in there for her to be disagreeing with what the NFL is doing, or being a little more in the camp of
exactly. That's why they just need to go get ahead of it.
Change it.
Just go get ahead of it.
Yeah.
And this is what I meant when I said 1, that, and just clarify it.
Yep.
And just be done with it. And just don't even bring it back. Don't continue to bring it up. All right.
Because the thing is, I knew what she was trying to say, but she didn't sound real confident about her answer when she was saying it, and that part is just what stuck out the most, and that's what I'm kind of worried about.
And there's also the perception. I mean, you guys tell me if you disagree. There's the perception that for many years it was merely window dressing. I brought in Denny Green. I brought in Denny Green. We're set. And it's like, no, No, that's not how it should
You know,
work.
in the
man.
NFL are doing some things, like for instance, what they did with Brad Home, what LA did with Brad Home, where they have these minority hires, right, and they bring them up, and then they keep them around, and they eventually say they get a job at another team. They're giving teams more incentive to keep
Plus
minority.
the compensatory picks that they're like the Rams get 2 third-round picks.
That's what I'm saying.
So
those are incentives that they're giving teams for keeping these minority guys and developing them, and then potentially them getting a job. Now, when they do get the job, now you get this incentive.
Yeah.
And so now that's what the NFL is doing now to make it more open for people of color to come in and get jobs in the NFL and be developed. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to be developed. We don't give us anything. We want to learn and let us earn our keep. Like, we want to earn it, but we can't pull ourselves up by the bootstraps if we don't have any boots.
You know what I love? I got to bring this up. A couple guys made reference to this. Andrew said, "Tell her to make it right with CJ. His presence to the wide receivers and knowledge of the game could boost players' morale and talent." Steve asked.
For sure.
Steve added, "Got to heal that wound. They have to be able to afford $1.6 million."
And she spoke on that too.
We have talked about this. Mrs. Ford, Hemp, Rod Wood, make this right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not before the season starts.
It's a festering wound that they're refusing to address.
What did she say,
Why?
Corey, with a K?
She just basically she wouldn't comment on the return of the money. She wouldn't comment on the financial aspect of it, but she did say that that the organization will continue to reach out to Calvin to try to repair that relationship. And it was kind of like the same thing with with their last answer. She was just kind of like she kind of danced around.
The only way to repair that is to pay him his money.
Fix it. Period. Fix it. All right, we got to get out of here. You want to add something before we go?
No. Guys, tune in tomorrow. This is Baligian and Bell. You have Sean here. You have Drake Bell here. You have my guy, Scott Bischoff, right here. We're getting it in. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't leave him hanging. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Tap in tomorrow. Throwback Thursdays.